This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Drive. Speaking of getting underway, the much anticipated, I would say that thing, sometimes that phrase is overused or misused, or I think overused. Much anticipated. But I think this Red Raider softball team and game, season is much anticipated. Wouldn't you say that?
I would definitely say that.
Okay, they get underway today. They're going to be playing down in Clearwater, Florida, at the NFCA Leadoff Classic, presented by Max BP. Okay, just so you know, Texas Tech will open the event against Marshall. That'll be at 6:00 tonight, our time. They'll play 2 games tomorrow against number 25 Mississippi State. That'll be at 4:00 our time, and Penn State at 7:00 our time. They'll play 2 more games on Saturday against number 16 Nebraska, and then they'll play at 6:00 on Saturday against Iowa. They'll round out the weekend against Kennesaw State. Okay, and that will be on Sunday at high noon. Okay.
I know Tech baseball has had a top 10 ranking preseason before, right? And track and field obviously has. They've been ranked number 1 preseason before. Is there anybody else on campus that's been a preseason top 10? Lady Raiders, maybe.
Surely they were back in the day.
Back in the day, maybe. Yeah.
Surely they were.
This softball team is ranked 10th, according to this article. Now, there's so many different polls.
Right, we're going with 10th in this for this conversation.
Yeah.
I know basketball hasn't been a top 10 preseason.
Right. Here's the quote from the head coach, Jerry Glasgow. He says, the whole tournament is going to be exciting. That's good. Okay, that's good. And then he says this, we'll approach that Florida tournament with the mindset that we will learn about ourselves, but it's also not going to tell us everything about ourselves. We will leave Florida needing to get better no matter what the outcomes are. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's pretty good synopsis.
No matter if we play really, really well or if we don't play well at all, we don't want this opening weekend to be our peak.
Right. Right. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, you don't want to peak too early, especially game 1.
No. But yeah, I think it is much anticipated. I think that is highly anticipated. Mm-hmm. Right?
I think you can peak, Jeff, in game 1 as long as you just continue that the entire time. Just plateau, so to speak, at your very best. Yeah, that's all right.
Somebody says this off the Yates Flooring Center chat line with regard to the question about football and basketball. This person says, I say football 6-6. Boy, that's not going to be a very fun fall. And basketball 4-2 to finish out the spring or the winter season, however you want to phrase that.
I think that it was a little confusing there. Basketball 4-2. What does 4-2 mean? We have more than 6 games left.
Right. I don't know.
Okay, I took that differently. I think I'm now agreeing with the way you took it. Football 6-6, basketball 4-2. We have more than 6 games left in basketball.
Yeah, we got 9 left, but
I don't know. I'm going to say if you only lose 4 in basketball the rest of the way, and you only lose 2 in football next season, I think you're having 2 great seasons.
Yeah, right. No question. No question about that. So anyway, that's what's getting ready to be on tap with regard to softball. I know that you're a really busy guy in the spring with baseball and all that you've got going on, but will you take in some softball over at Rocky Johnson?
I would imagine so. It just kind of depends on the timing.
Sure, but that's not necessarily been on your list in the past. But I mean,
I've gone to, I don't know,
handful of games.
No, more than that.
Okay.
More than that, probably 20 or 30 games.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I mean, over the last 10, 12 years that I've been here, that's really not that many. I mean, 1 or 2 a season, usually.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm impressed by that. I mean,
Generally speaking, people that like baseball also like softball.
Softball. Yeah. I just like to...
you make it sound like I don't like baseball. I like baseball.
It doesn't surprise me that Jamie's been to that many softball games. Generally, people that like baseball also like softball.
Do they snuggle up next to you and go, "Hey, are you keeping score when you go there too?"
No, I mean, I just go sit there by myself and watch some softball. Nobody snuggles up next to me.
Okay.
It'd be harder to do that now because you can walk in at any point and find a good seat with
in the past, right?
five seats on each side of you empty. It's not going to be that way anymore.
No, now you're hoping everybody used dial.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's good. That's a good problem.
Boy, I think it's going to be raucous over there, which is awesome.
I don't know what to expect. I mean, everybody loves a winner. We know that, and this team's going to be a winner. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be a national champion, but they're going to be a winner. There's no question about that. And so people buy into that. I don't know what the love is for softball. I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know. So we'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
I don't know. Well,
I hope it's great.
I do too.
Just like we talk about the other sports, and we hope it's packed every night. I hope the same thing for softball, just like the others. But I think they'll have a lot of the softball world will come out to support them, and then I think you'll have a lot of just Red Raider fans that maybe haven't been softball fans in the past that'll come out and
they'll be like, oh, this is
and if they get to host a regional or whatever, the place will be hopping.
Oh my God, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay, real quick here, Jamie, because this person said he won't be around for the 7:00 baseball talk. But what's the expectation for the team this season? He says you can't answer this quick, but the expectation I think is pretty high for this baseball team. Wouldn't you say?
It depends on if you're asking the team or in the coaching staff, or you're asking the fan base. I think that's probably a little bit different. I think the fan base is a little bit, they're kind of just dipping their toe in. They're not jumping all in yet because they want to see how you bounce back from last year, and they want to see what it's like with the new teams in the conference and all that. But I feel like the team has high expectations of themselves. I mean, you hear Coach Tadlock talk. I think he thinks this team could be a really good one. So, I think his expectation, he said it earlier this week, is to play 5 home games in the postseason. At least 5 home games, I think he said.
That would be that'd be a lot of fun.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
On the Morning Drive, today is the 6th day of February, 2025. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Sign of the apocalypse today, guys, in 1926. NFL rules that college students are ineligible until they complete their college careers.
Wow. Okay.
You know where that's going to go.
Somebody should sue for that.
Yeah, that's right. Where do I represent the athletes to be able to sue them? The universities.
Yeah.
1958. Future Baseball Hall of Famer outfielder Ted Williams becomes the highest paid player in Major League Baseball when he re-signs with the Boston Red Sox for $135,000.
Just trying to buy a championship, those Red Sox.
Well, that's a homegrown talent. Well, kind of. Yeah, that's homegrown talent. He was drafted by them.
Hometown discount there for Teddy ball game.
1973, Phil Bailey scores 17 off the bench as an eventual Southwest Conference champion. Texas Tech tops Arkansas for the 17th straight time in Lubbock, 73-64.
Wow.
1990, Brett Hall becomes the first son of an NHL 50-goal scorer, Bobby Hall, to also score 50 goals.
50-50 family.
2011, in the Super Bowl in Cowboys Stadium, Green Bay Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-25. Aaron Rodgers is your MVP.
14 years ago, and McCarthy's still looking to get back, and so is Aaron Rodgers.
And
unfortunate.
More than that, so are the Dallas Cowboys. It's National Chopsticks Day. I used to know how to use them. I don't anymore.
I would guess that you'd be able to pick that up pretty quick.
Like, I'd have to have somebody, like, show me how to do it correctly. I remember I used to be able to, because I think I remember correctly, I taught my mom.
YouTube it, Jeff.
I could.
Yeah.
Then I'm saying, well, I could have used a fork.
Yeah, I just don't see the purpose of it.
I'm with Jamie.
We have better options.
Yeah, I'm with Jamie.
Silverware.
But if you can use them, kudos to you. That's a skill.
Especially if you can catch a fly with them.
Yes.
Danielson.
Because then you can do anything.
If you can tie a bow tie and use chopsticks, then you're really a 1%er.
The whole combination. Sure.
I mean, how long would it take you to just, even if you didn't YouTube it, to figure out how to eat with them? I mean, 2 or 3 minutes for anyone?
I think it's harder than it looks.
Yeah. If I remember, it was hard.
I don't think it looks easy. I just think that you could figure it out.
Happy birthday to Axl Rose, who's 63. Chris Humphries is 40. And Tom Brokaw is 85.
Tom Brokaw. Good evening. This is Tom Brokaw with NBC News.
What was his favorite word?
Achille Laurel. He couldn't say it. Achille Laurel. It was the cruise ship that was captured by pirates. And the guy was, I think he was killed on it. But they were always talking about the Achille Laurel. And then Tom
You
Brokaw.
have a word that you can't say well, Jeff?
The school in the state of Texas that Texas Tech plays on occasion in football.
Tarleton?
I'm not, nope. I'm not even going to say it to say it wrong.
Association has been the word that I always struggle with.
Association, yeah.
And we know what Chuck's is. Longevity.
Yeah. I'm doubting myself. Is it longevity or it's not longevity. It's
not
longevity.
It's
longevity. Yeah, you're right.
1937, John Steinbeck's novella of Mice and Men. The story of a bond between two migrant workers is published. He adapted the book into a 3-act play, which was produced that same year. The story brought a national attention to Steinbeck's work, which had started to catch on in 1935 with the publication of his first successful novel, Tortilla Flat. And that. This day in sports history.
Have
you
you
read that one, Chuck?
No, I've not read of Mice and Men. How about you?
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, really?
Loved it.
Is it a nice, big, thick book?
I don't remember how thick it was, but I loved it. Did you like this? Did you read it, Jeff?
I read of Mice and Men. I read of Mice and Men. I didn't read Tortilla Flat.
Oh, I don't know what Tortilla Flat is.
Yeah, it was his first one.
Okay. Best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. I quote that quite frequently.
Around here?
Just life in general. Yeah.
Life in general, yeah. 6:50 this morning here on the morning drive. There's going to be some history for some today because the Pro Football Hall of Fame will make its announcement today for the new class, the class of 2025, for the modern inductees. Okay, so those that are on the list right now, the finalists: Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson. Let's see, I'll give you some names here: Antonio Gates, Eli Manning, Steve Smith Sr., Terrell Suggs, Adam Vinatieri. He would seem to be on the list. Darren Woodson, I think he's going to get in.
Hope so.
Yeah. Reggie Wayne, Fred Taylor. Let's see. What about... yeah, that's probably... This is the prediction. Up to 5 are going to get in. This particular writer, he predicts Adam Vinatieri will get in.
Vinatieri.
Vinatieri. Yeah. Vinatieri, right? Yeah. Him too. He's going to get in.
Okay, him too.
Yeah.
Him. So there's only 3 spots left.
Adam Vinatieri. Torrey Holt. He has him getting in. Antonio Gates. Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
He's a linebacker. Played for the Panthers, right?
Kuechly?
Kuechly. Luke Kuechly, I think, is correct. What about Eli Manning?
I think it's Kuechly. Yes, I think Eli Manning deserves to be in.
Okay. Is it because he won
throw up when I say that, but yes.
Won 2 Super Bowls, or is it just because he was really a good quarterback and also won 2 Super Bowls?
Really good quarterback that also won 2 Super Bowls.
Okay.
Eli's the guy that's had really high highs and really low lows. He's pretty bad at times, but those 2 Super Bowl runs, he was legit.
Let's see. People say that he will not get in on the first ballot.
I can believe that.
Yeah. And that he would join Jim Plunkett for at least a year as the only Hall-eligible starting quarterbacks to win 2 Super Bowls and not be enshrined. The case against Eli, as we know, is that he was never one of the elite of his era. But, he's playing in the same time period as, his brother and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and
Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Pretty good group.
Pretty good group there.
People love, and this article says people love to say that wins are not a quarterback stat, but the truth is Super Bowl wins matter in a lot in this context. This guy's prediction is the voters will put Manning in this year. Voting isn't always easy to predict, but that's how he sees it. Okay. So they'll knock on the door and show that. I always love that. When you have the NFL. Now, in Eli Manning's case, is it going to be his brother that knocks on the door? That would be really cool if he gets it.
Yeah, I would bet Peyton would love to do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Adam Vinatieri, is it Tom Brady that knocks on the door, or is it his holder? The guy that snaps it. Anyway, so that's it.
Or is it Tom Brady? Because that's how he got to start.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Antonio Gates is the only one Chuck pronounced correctly. Okay.
Antonio Gates he was a dude, man. He was really good.
I think I got Torrey Holt correct. That would be hard to get wrong. Eli Manning, I got that one correct. So it wasn't just Antonio Gates, but it's fair. Sometimes I struggle with that.
I couldn't remember Kuechly.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly.
I think it's Kuechly. I
think you're right.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Do you have a Giddy meter, and where would you be on the Giddy meter right now in terms of the start of baseball?
5.
5, okay. Is the Giddy meter, does it go up to 10? Is that where it goes? Is that what it goes to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe his Giddy meter is right next to his digitometer.
Gigatometer?
Dig.
Yeah. Digitometer.
Which is, they're both
silly.
Very gently filed in the trash.
That was very professional of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Texas Tech Red Raider baseball team gets underway. They start off with a really tough series with North Carolina. And Coach Tim Tadlock the other day talked about beefing up his non-conference schedule to help from an RPI standpoint for his baseball team.
First and foremost, you try to put your team in position to be a national seed. And really felt like with them leaving the league, you just didn't know where the RPI was going to fall. And so the simplest way to build an RPI is to go on the road because you get more points for games on the road. And so that's where we started. Then opportunity to go to, again, like you got North Carolina, probably predicted to win the ACC. I'm not sure predictions mean much, but they are. Grand Canyon's probably predicted to win their league. And so anytime you can go in and play a 3-game set against a team that's the best in their league, that bodes well for you towards the end of the year. And so just felt like to do that and to set it up by early in the year, again, like we did look at it though and say, hey, let's go somewhere it's warm. Vegas is warm, Phoenix will be warm. North Carolina, you really don't have that choice. I think it's scheduled to be in the 50s right now, low 50s. And so just really wanted to put our guys in position to do what they've always wanted to do. And again, your goal is to host postseason baseball here. That's what we're trying to do. First, with your schedule, I should say. Obviously, there's bigger goals than that. But, really, these guys have done a good job of really just their day-to-day right now. And we're talking big picture stuff, and that's stuff you do in the year before and summer before and all that stuff.
So how do you feel like the schedule sets up compared to maybe the last 2 or 3 years?
Well, there's a lot of road games. It's tough. I mean, remember you're playing, 10 series against Big 12 foes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's already 30 of your games right there. But, I mean, your first 8 of your first 9 games will be against teams that made the NCAA postseason last year. You're talking about, like he did, about teams that will probably win their conference. North Carolina is coming off of winning theirs. They're ranked 6th in the country. Your UC Irvine is your home series that you have the second week of the season, and they were a postseason team a year ago. When you go to Vegas, you'll play Texas, who obviously is very good. You'll play Illinois, who won the Big Ten. I mean, it just keeps coming, tough matchups, and then 4 out of the first 5 you're on the road. Weekends you're on the road. And so I think that bodes well as far as you picking up extra RPI points and all of those things. So you got to go out and win games, but I think you're definitely giving yourself a chance to rate high with the RPI.
Yeah, you're doing a little traveling. You got Chapel Hill on your schedule. You got going to Vegas on your schedule, and then Phoenix, and you have a couple home games there against UC San Diego. And then Big 12 play starts. Man, it seems really quick, but I mean,
it is. Yeah, it really is.
I mean, March the 14th, you'll play down in Houston at the Darrell and Lori Schrader Park. Have you been there before?
At Houston, no, I have not.
Okay. It's kind of right there. I think the baseball stadium is pretty close to the Fertitta Center there on campus. So I think it's kind of right there, smack dab in the middle of everything. Darrell and Lori Schrader Park. Okay, probably just Schrader Park. But yeah, that's crazy when you think about starting off on the road for the first 5 weekends, being out of town. That's
so again, that's done for a reason.
It's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's done for a reason. I mean, that's to help your RPI.
And so
obviously the Big 12 one, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
But the others you did.
Coach Tadlock goes on to talk about the schedule and how it puts his team ready for postseason play according to the RPI.
Yeah, it does exactly that. I mean, we fully intend on playing 5 or 6 home games at the end of the year here. We put that schedule together with the intent to host a regional and to host a super. That's what it does. It puts you in position to do that. Guys are excited about it. Really didn't want to leave it to chance. An opportunity to go to Chapel Hill came about last summer, and we're like, okay, yeah, why wouldn't you? The last time we went to an ACC school was probably in 2016. We went to Florida State, and that set our RPI up pretty good that year.
They and you may or may not know this, so I'm going to ask the question, but they don't necessarily set their schedule and go, well, if we go there, you got to come here, do they?
It just depends on the agreement. Sometimes that's the case, but other times it's not.
I mean, are you aware that North Carolina going to return that trip?
I do not know.
Yeah. And then in the other case, the Vegas trip is obviously a tournament or a classic, so to speak. So
multi-team event.
Multi-team event. That's the best. Multi-team event. That's the best way to.
MTE, if you want to get the jargon.
Yeah, no, I want the jargon. MTE, multi-team event.
Is this the first time in 4 years that we haven't opened in Arlington or Houston?
There was a stretch where it was one or the other. It wasn't always the opener, but yeah, where we've played one or
soon
the
after,
other. Yeah,
maybe opening weekend here and then second weekend in there.
Yeah, so I guess they're going to mix Vegas in the mix as well. With that. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe we won't be going back to Houston.
Okay, so
we're playing down there now.
What's that?
Since we're playing down there on occasion now.
Yeah, that, and it hasn't always gone well. I mean,
it hasn't always been a pleasant experience.
They haven't been the best hosts.
Yeah.
The Astros don't act like they really want to do that. Yeah, let's put it to you that way.
Okay, so you talked about Trendon Parrish from a pitching standpoint. Of the returning position players, whether they're starting or role players, who are you most excited about?
I keep saying that I think Dylan Maxey behind the plate is going to have a big season. This is a guy that, when given his opportunity, he's always hit, and he's thrown well. He's done well behind the plate. He's just happened to play behind great players, and so I love the fact that he, stuck it out here at Texas Tech and sat for 2 years and was the guy that would come in and get a Saturday start or a midweek start or whatever, but he wasn't the go-to guy. And I think he's a really talented player. The dude can hit, and I think he's got a chance to have a great season. I feel like he's the guy that nobody's talking about. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the guys that you brought in to transfer. Bravo, which is totally understandable. He led the conference in hitting last year, or TJ Pompey, and he's getting all these preseason accolades. But I think Maxey has a chance to have a really good season for the Red Raiders.
Okay. 7:23 this morning here on the morning drive. There was a question about Brady Trombello on the chat line. You answered it, but you feel like that he'll be a guy that at some point in time will be able to contribute from a pitching standpoint?
Yeah, I expect so. I mean, Coach Tadlock, he's thrown. He didn't look great last time out, but Coach Tadlock's talked about him kind of working back to get all of his strength back, because it took a while before he was able to work out and all that. So probably be a little bit longer before he's back to full strength, so to speak. So I would guess that means that they'll use him a little bit less early on, sparingly. They'll kind of ease him back in, and maybe an inning here, inning there, whatever. But the hope is that he'll continue to get stronger, and that he'll be a bigger factor as the season goes along.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, with the Texas Tech baseball schedule handy, the question I have for you is, what is your favorite 3-opponent stretch? Now, let me make sure you understand what I'm asking here. Like, if you want to go the beginning of the season as your answer, so you go North Carolina, UC Irvine, and then Illinois being 1, 2, 3, that would be your answer. So you're covering 7 games there. If you want to just do the Las Vegas Collegiate Baseball Classic, so you get Illinois, Texas, and Washington, well, that's over a much shorter period of time, that would be your answer. So what is your favorite 3-opponent game stretch? Does that make sense?
Yep.
You want to go first?
Sure. I think I will go, if we're going 3 here, I think I will go, let me get back to it here, late March, when you play at Kansas State, you play Oklahoma and Frisco on Tuesday, and then you come home to play Cincinnati. Just because the reason I like that stretch is I love that game with Oklahoma.
Yep.
The Cincinnati matchup is one that you haven't had as far as the series goes. You played them in the Big 12 tournament last year, but it'll be their first time to come to Lubbock for baseball, so I think that's cool. The K-State part of it, I'm just going to tell you, I had to pick one side or the other, and on the other side, there's a matchup with New Mexico in New Mexico, so I surely wasn't picking that one.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going with K-State, who I don't think will be quite as good as they were last year, but they were a good team last year, postseason team, all that good stuff. So I think that could be a fun 3-opponent stretch. It actually stretches over 7 games.
Okay. And I'm not picking my 3 based on opponent. I'm picking my 3 based on location. Okay? For you. Okay? Because when I was in Tempe...
But this is not about me.
Well, the question was just, what is your favorite 3-game stretch? Okay?
3-opponent stretch.
3-opponent stretch. Well, I'll do this. Okay, I'm going to say the Arizona State series, because when we went by that ballpark on the way to the arena in Tempe, and I saw the parking lot on New Year's Day, and it was filled with people that were going to go hiking, and I saw the the trails nearby, and then I talked to you about it the next day, and you said, I've been on some of those trails, and I thought, this would put joy in your heart. You'll choose joy that day when you get to go, put on your sneaks or your hiking shoes and, put your whatever kind of protection you have to keep you from the rattlesnakes, and you'll be able to just go hike and not have a worry in the world. Okay. And then they'll play Arizona State, and then I'll say, because I think those games have been interesting.
I think Arizona State's going to be good, better than a lot of people are picking them.
But I'll say the Arizona State, and then follow that up with Abilene Christian. Those two games against ACU, there and then here, because it's boom boom back to back.
Well, that's series 2.
So attach Arizona onto the end of that.
Yeah.
I think you're.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one because the Abilene Christian games, one's on the road and one is at home on Monday and Tuesday.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and so that's just one opponent, and then you go to Arizona. That's a good stretch.
Okay.
I like your answer.
Okay.
I mean, if you were worried about the hiking thing, if that was a factor for you, probably should have gone to the end of the year and got the BYU one.
Oh, are you going to hike the Y?
Oh, man, am I going to hike the Y?
He's going to hike the Y every day.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Will you?
No. I'm just going to hike the Y. I'm not going to post on social media about it.
Just send it to me.
I'm going to hike it.
So you're going to guns up on the Y, and
I'm sure there'll be a picture taken and sent to the fam.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you? I mean, do you consider us part of your family? Extended family?
It's some version of a family. Yes. Yes.
Disjointed.
Second cousin twice removed on the mother's
disoriented.
side.
Yes. Disowned family.
Yes. I mean, Level did it. I mean, I can't let Chris Level out hike me, right?
Yeah.
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 See, I agree with Chuck.
He said, but I'll say this: Level had to do it in much tougher conditions than I will.
Oh,
because it was snow and stuff.
Snow and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he had to really fight through it.
When I was looking through the schedule, I first thought was, okay, well, where's your big home stretch? And you really don't have one where you've got back-to-back-to-back opponents at home kind of concept. You've got, and the reason I picked this Arizona State, Abilene Christian, Arizona swing like Chuck did, is you've got one Big 12 road series that I think is going to be key. You've got another one coming in town that is going to be big. And then you've got Abilene Christian where you split it. So you get that extra home game in there. It's not a great RPI game, or at least it hasn't been. I don't know what Abilene Christian looks like this year. But it's still a nice little pause between what could be two pretty Big 12 series with one on the road and one at home.
Yeah, I think I like your guys' answer better than mine. I do. Playing Arizona State and Arizona over that stretch, to me, is that's going to be good baseball. It's going to be great to have Arizona here for a 3-game series. I like going and playing at Abilene Christian, especially now that they have a new press box, just because the fans there are always excited to see the Red Raiders there, and the ACU fans, I think, are excited to see their team take on the Red Raiders. I think that means something to them. So I like that matchup there. So, yeah, I think you guys had the better answer.
Okay.
Arizona State and Arizona in the mix. Those are two historic baseball programs, all the above. I wish it was flip-flopped because we just went to Arizona State, so I wish we went to Arizona, not Arizona State. But
yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it gets underway next week, and we'll have all the games for you. Sometimes it may be, moved around just a little bit, just depending on what men's hoops is doing and things along those lines. But Jamie will be there. Your microphone travels. You ready to go? You ready to get out amongst them?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Dan in Dallas wanted me to ask you if you'd gotten new pins.
I did get new pens, but really I only needed a couple of them. So
Okay.
I'll still use the old ones with a couple new ones, and then I'll have
Did we
backups.
replace the pitcher's pens?
There's no pitcher pens.
I thought you used a different pen for every pitcher, like as they went through.
every
Those are
pitcher.
the ones I'm talking about.
Oh, those are the ones I use.
Oh, just no. Those are the normal pens. Okay.
Yeah, normal pens.
I thought you had one for the batters and one for your pitchers.
No.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today. Hour 3 of 3 this morning here on the Morning Drive. It's it's Super Bowl week. We'll have have the big game for you on Sunday. That'll be fun. I saw this. I mean, and look, he's not unique on this. So there's some things that he is unique on, but Patrick Mahomes signed with Texas Tech to play college football 11 years ago the other day. Just think. I mean, you just think about kind of where you were. I mean, all of us individually, 11 years ago, or even think about coming out of high school and then the first 11 years of your career, whether it was the 4 years of college or 3 or whatever you went, plus the start of your work history. And it's an amazing story, because I don't know that anybody would have said the day that he signed with Texas Tech, hey, 11 years from now, you're going to be a 3-time Super Bowl champion. You're going to play it in 4. You're going to have an opportunity to win 3 in a row. Nobody would have said that.
I think that statement goes without being said.
Right. I mean, it's just
otherwise he probably would have had more offers.
Right. Somebody would have said, "Hey, you want to play baseball, basketball, football, or whatever, man? We're gonna let you do whatever you want to do."
He could have picked any school in the country if they knew what he was going to turn into.
I mean, it's kind of like if you had the crystal ball and you could go, well, what's the potential for this person, or what's the potential for yourself, or what's the potential for your spouse or your kid, And that's, we'd all kind of be able to look into the crystal ball and go,
if we had the crystal ball, I would have asked him to redshirt for 3 or 4 years till we got a decent defense for him to play with, so we could actually do some damage. Could put two sides of the ball together.
Yeah, although you got to convince Jakeem to do it too.
Yeah, that would have helped.
I mean, that was a connection that really, really, really worked well.
Mm-hmm. But you just kind of think about that and just go. It's kind of mind blowing, really, when you think about it. But they'll tee it up on Sunday. Do you think the Chiefs' biggest concern is Saquon Barkley and how you contain him and keep him from just running up and down the field?
I would expect that the run game of the Eagles is a major concern for the Chiefs. I would also say probably that their defensive front is a concern from them as well. But those are the two things that, have really put the Eagles in this place to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, Hurts has been okay. They aired it out a little bit more in the NFC Championship game, but for the most part, it's been about their good run game and their great defense. And
do you think, do the Eagles kind of look at the Chiefs like a lot of teams have looked at the Chiefs this year and go, how have they done this? We know what Mahomes can do. We know what they're going to do with Travis Kelce. We know that they're going to try to get the ball to Xavier Worthy. We know that, this guy. But it just seems like, even though all this, that for whatever reason they've been able to kind of figure it out and at the end of the day win by less than 10 points.
I don't think there's any team that the Chiefs played this year that said, how are they doing this? They know who number 15 is, and they know how good he is. They know how he's a game changer. They know he's a clutch player. They know that, no matter how good the talent is around him, he's good enough to beat you, to make guys better, and to make enough plays to get a win. So I don't think teams are saying that. And I also think they look at the Chiefs' defense and say, man, that defense is legit. I mean, that's a really good defense. That's an elite defense in the NFL. And so those things that really jump off the page at you. Mahomes and an elite defense. I mean, you if you have those two things together, you can predict what's going to happen. It's exactly what's happened for the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, the defense hasn't been as elite maybe as it is right now, but if you have an elite defense and you have Patrick Mahomes, you're going to say, what? That team's going to hardly ever lose. And guess what? The Chiefs hardly ever lose. Yeah, pretty impressive what they've done.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I was a little surprised Mahomes only had Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Rice offers. Was there a reason? Yeah, because he wanted to play baseball too.
Supposedly those were the 3 schools that told him he could play both.
Yeah.
That's the story, at least.
Yeah. Somebody says that he goes on to say he was very accomplished in high school, not like a nobody. And you'd agree with that. You saw him play some high school.
As a football player?
Well, he said he was very accomplished in high school.
In all three sports.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I guarantee you he could have played. I don't guarantee, but I think he could have played D1 basketball too. He was a really good basketball player. Yeah. And he was, and in football he was, I mean, a man among boys. Just made it look like he was running around with the junior high kids out there. He just made it look simple. In baseball, he was a terrific athlete as well, but he probably stood out more in football than baseball.
Because of his size?
No, just because of his athletic ability.
Yeah.
Whereas, his baseball, he still looked like a great player too that could play professionally, but football, he just looked like he was just so much better than everybody else.
8:07 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. I want to get into this just a little bit. What's your biggest concern for men's basketball right now? Or do you have a big concern?
Biggest concern. Well, I surely am not concerned about them overlooking their next opponent or getting fat and happy off of what they've done. I mean, this is a major test you got in front of you against a team that has great basketball history, and against a team that, I don't remember what the time was, but it was 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. The last time you played them at home, it was tied. And I know you ended up stretching your legs there and winning it by 14 or 16, but that was a good game throughout, right? Until that stretch. When you absolutely dominated down the stretch. So, and you also know they're ahead of you in the standings, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason to overlook this squad. I mean, you're gonna be primed and ready to go. I guess my concern is that Arizona's a good team. Their atmosphere is going to be good, and it's going to be a tough place to win.
Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet973.com.